Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, New Kid in Town, Walter West, Dark Flash. I pre-ordered this guy from the McFarlane toy store. He arrived today, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Dark Flash. Here he is in the package. Looks like we have a collector's card, display stand, and a couple of Speed Force effects. One side of the package, Dark Flash, Walter West from New Kid in Town. Other side, Dark Flash. At the bottom, there's his barcode if that helps. And at the back, here he is posted up from the comics. So with no further ado, let's open him up. I did order the bundle for the McFarlane toy store, Flesher Superman, Tempest, and Dark Flash. Took advantage of the coupon code, the bundle discount, and my platinum membership discount. There's also a platinum figure in this wave. It's going to be Nightmaster. It's going to be one of those red platinums that doesn't have a regular release, and that should be available if you find these in stores or if you buy a case online. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. We have a display stand, a collector's card, and 2 Speed Force effects. Before we check that out, let's talk about and look at the figure. So this is the Dark Flash. His real name is Walter West. This is the Flash from a different Earth in the Multiverse. He's pretty much Wally West from a different universe. They had the exact same life until he was unable to save his wife Linda and she died. Then it became sort of a violent, brutal Flash of his universe. He's known as the Dark Flash because of his really dark red costume. At one point, he even filled in for Wally West. One time he answered Max Mercury's call from the Speed Force to help him and the entire Flash family battle the Legion of Zoom. So he is a member of the Flash family. He's a good guy. He's actually the Flash of his universe. When I first saw this figure, called the Dark Flash, I just assumed it was a villain of sorts. But I looked it up, and I believe he was active in the Dark Flash saga, and I don't think he's been seen since. So let's take a closer look. Start with his face here. He's got those white eyes, kind of like Wally West, and this pretty much is Wally West of his universe. He's got a sort of traditional looking Flash costume, except the red is considerably darker. He's got the little sort of lightning bolts on the side of his head, a big lightning bolt down his torso. This guy's done on the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. You can tell by the prominent top 2 abs separated from the rest. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. It's a basic looking figure, but it's cool to add another Flash ally to the mix. And this is one I personally had never heard of before. When I hear the Dark Flash, I think of all kind of different characters and villains with the Speed Force. And I guess there's another one out of the mix. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Like I said, kind of basic looking costume. I feel like it's not quite as dark as it should be based off the pictures I saw online. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical display stand we've seen countless times before. And then we have his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Dark Flash. The Dark Flash, Walter West from New Kid in Town. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now let's look at his Speed Force effects. He has 2 of them. They're cast in a semi-transparent blue and gray type plastic. They're going to wrap around his limbs, sort of like lightning bolts or energy coming off them as he's running. They are different sculpts. Here's the Dark Flash with those Speed Force effects attached to his legs. You can attach him to either his legs or his arms while he's running. I'm actually surprised he didn't come with 4 Speed Force effects. So the Dark Flash here is done on the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body, and here would be my minor complaints. It's not a bad body per se, sort of an all-purpose generic body, but I don't like the fact that the top 2 abs are separate from the bottom. It always just makes it look weird and super noticeable. The wrists can look awkward very easily. If you have them straight like this, not too bad, but as soon as you start to move them, or rotate them around, they can be very ugly. And then they have these sort of sculpted boot cuts, which are not appropriate to the majority of figures that use this body. Now I wanted to check out the differences and reuse between this Walter West Dark Flash and the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. he shares most parts with Blue Beetle. So, obviously the heads are totally different. The torso is the same. You can see those top two abs. Stomach's the same. The arms to the hands are the same. The trunk or diaper area is different. And the legs are the same. So these are 100% the same figure beyond the head, the diaper, and the paint job. Here's a look at all the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that utilize the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. It's a decent all-purpose body. My complaints would be the stupid boot cut that most of them have. The wrists look kind of awkward sometimes. The prominent top two abs separate from the rest of them. But most of these figures look pretty good on this body, except for some minor inaccuracies. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 6.9 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up, not too much, down quite a bit. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up more than 90 degrees, up, down, around. He's got this butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged. He's got a ball joint in his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. Legs, complete as splits, McFarland style hip joints. Rotation is minimal. That's actually pretty good on him. Legs go forward, about that far. Back not much. Double jointed knees. And his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, to articulation. Here's a look at Walter West, the Dark Flash, running right toward you, and a side view of the Dark Flash, running through the city streets, Speed Force energy around him. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane Speedsters. Here are 3 different action figures and different characters named the Dark Flash. Like I said, when I first heard they were doing a Dark Flash, I just assumed he was another villain. The one on the far left is actually Barry Allen from the Flash film. The one in the middle is Walter West from the Flash saga. And the one on the right, it's sort of an entity from the Speed Force that takes fallen speedsters to the afterlife or such their souls, something like that. It's from Speed Metal. So the Dark Flash is Walter West. Not exactly Wally West, but sort of Wally West. Here he is, next to a couple of traditional Wally West Flash figures. Here's Walter West Dark Flash, next to all the different Wally West Flash figures that I have. Here he is, next to a couple of traditional versions of the Barry Allen Flash. Then, next to Jake Garrick and Max Mercury. Next, with the Wallace West Kid Flash, and the Bart Allen Impulse. And now, with a couple versions of the Professor Zoom Reverse Flash. Here he is, with the Daniel West Reverse Flash, and the Rival. And here, with the Red Death and Godspeed. Here are all the McFarlane DC Multiverse Speedster figures. We have 42 so far. I'm sure we'll get plenty more coming. I can't even think of what the next one coming out is going to be. Now let's check him out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Flesh of Superman, Dark Flash, and Tempest. There is a Platinum in this wave. That is Nightmaster. I haven't seen any retail sightings for him, but he should be packed in at retail stores, and if you order full cases online. And I hate to say it, look at the scaling here. I know Superman's a big guy, but he's kind of out of scale with Flash, which should be regular man-sized. And then Tempest, although he used to be Aqualad, should also be a full-grown man at this point. Here's the Dark Flash, next to the most recent Batman movie wave. Both versions of the Batman Begins Batman, Michael Keaton Batman, and Batman Begins Scarecrow. And here he is, next to the 9th wave of Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Power Girl, and Captain Cold. Then, with the Flashpoint Thomas Wayne vs. Reverse Flash 2-pack, and now with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker and Franklin Murray 2-pack. Here's the Dark Flash, next to the McFarland Toy Store exclusive Icon. And here he is, next to the gold label Target exclusive Wildcat and Orion. Then, with the most recent wave of page punchers, both the regular and Platinum Chase versions of Shazam and Captain Thunder, the comic version of the Christopher Reeve Superman, and both versions of the animated Red Hood, and now with the King Kong vs. Batman 3-pack, and finally, next most recent Batman comic wave, both the regular and Platinum versions of the Silver Age Batman and Noel Batman, the Platinum Batman vs. Spawn Batman, and all 3 versions of the Neo-Gothic Batman Beyond Batman. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Flash figures as I can during these comparisons. Since we already checked him out, next to all the other McFarlane DC Multiverse Flash figures, here he is with some more McFarlane toys. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale, and now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here's the Dark Flash, next to an iBook. And here he is, with some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a cool Dark Flash figure. It's a cool Walter West figure. It's kind of on the basic side, and a little bit on the short side. I'd like him because he's a brand new character. It's not exactly Wally West. It's Walter West from a sort of different Earth or different timeline that sort of went askew when events changed. But it's another person to add to the Flash team of allies. If they need to bring backup from the Speed Force, from the Multiverse, this is one of your guys. His accessories, kind of light. He could use a couple more Speed Force effects. Sculpt and paint job, very basic. It's a Blue Beetle body. Articulation is everything you expect from a modern McFarlane figure. If I had to rate this figure, I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10. It's really just nothing special, a little more of the same. Still, it is cool to add another speedster to the mix and a brand new character, sort of. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say to the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.